choo-choo train.
Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation. When I say I'm going to transfer us over, that means I'm going to make us live and the sound live. So when you start saying random things, that means don't continue the conversation. That means zip it, because I'm making us live and I'm about to do the introduction. I'm so glad I did not have you unmuted yet. You idiot! In for nincompoop!
Oh, God.
Alright, so alright, just to let you know where we're at, here's what you missed last week, Shem, while Memorial Day was happening and you were doing barbecue stuff. To be fair, we grilled out and had burgers and stuff too. We just had them earlier in the day, so we could do the reading and things like that. Here's what you missed. There were what's his name? Ganondorf Gandalf, wizard extraordinaire, showed up in Farminus and had a conversation with the powerful people there. Where they informed him that, while you may be powerful, you are not Diablo powerful. And if you go over there trying to start shit with Tempest, and you're sitting here trying to get us to join the Empire, that ain't happening. You go over there starting to start shit with Tempest, they have a Diablo. Diablo's a primordial. You're fucked. Oh yeah, he's one of 4 primordials that they have. They're all named. They're demon peers. You're screwed.
Yeah, so...
Have fun, good luck. They're like,
there
wait,
like, huh?
what? And he's like, yeah, your shit is horribly outdated. What kind of bullshit is Yuki trying to pull us into? Yeah, you and the Empire don't even know how fucked you are. Meanwhile, the guys that they sent over that are going dungeon crawling have made it all the way to the 60th floor. They're now about to enter Adelman's territory. This is the part that we just built into, right? Now, we stopped right before they enter and start the battle with Adelman. Everything has been prepped to this. And I'm like, oh boy. We saw what Adelman was before. We haven't seen what Adelman is now. Everything has been built. Okay, there's Sonic. Hi, Sonic. Everything has been built up to Adelman. Everybody is expecting Adelman to get his ass kicked because... when they beat floor 50, they got this weapon that basically shreds the undead. Right? So that's what's going on. It shreds the undead. So they're like...
I just remembered where we left off last week, too.
Yes, I'm recapping.
Shim, you missed out.
I'm recapping for Shim real quick. So we've got that. And that's kind of where we're at. So I turned my expectations toward the Guardian of Floor 70 instead. That's where Rimuru ended. And so, where we're going to be starting is, upon realizing there were intruders in his domain. That is what we're looking for. So,
it was at that moment
that having been said, it was at that moment that he knew all you have to do is subtract the 1. It's more complicated than that!
No, it's not.
No, it's not. All right.
Really is.
All right, anyway, so ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, once again.
I'm not shaking.
I've already done it once, so I'm doing the...
No, I'm not shaking, because we know what happens when I shake a whole bunch like that. With my headset.
Don't move your head. Yeah. Move everything but the head. Oh, shit.
So,
yeah, you're still moving your head there.
Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, I'd like to go ahead and say that if you have not had the movie-going
We're belly dancing now?
If you have not had the movie-going pleasure of seeing Across the Spider-Verse, go watch that shit. It's really good.
Do it.
I saw it this afternoon, Monday afternoon matinee. Cheap. Just go to the Monday cinema.
Cheap as balls.
It's cheap as balls. Cheap as balls. Go see a weekday movie event. It's cheap as balls.
Wolf.
Have a medium-sized popcorn and a drink. You'll have a fantastic time.
You don't have to do any of that shit. Don't get fat. No.
Fat.
Don't do that. You don't need a tub of butter. You don't need that shit.
You fat.
You don't
tell
need to
you
be
what, I'll
fat,
tell
but
you
you do
what.
need to be pH
I
fat.
tell you what. Here's the thing.
You need to be
It is-
fatulous.
It is almost a 2.5-hour movie, and it is gonna feel long, but it's fucking phenomenal. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's so goddamn good. Yes,
It's gonna feel long.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Guys.
a fucking disappointing statement.
Guys, it's gonna feel long in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way.
What? Am I gonna have a cigarette at the end of it? Be like, was it good for you as it was for me?
Promises, white man.
Even though it's gonna feel long, you're gonna wish it was longer. You're gonna be like, oh shit, it could have ended here. Wait, there's
I was
still
satisfied
more?
with it.
No. Here's the thing. The reason I say it's gonna feel long is because you're expecting shit. This is where they're gonna end it, and it keeps going, and you're happy with that.
Wouldn't that be a bad thing, though?
And then you're like, shit, they're gonna end it here, and then it keeps going, and you're like, well, hell yeah. And then they ended it where they ended. By the way, guys, don't stay. There's no post credits.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Appreciate
That's-
it.
Okay, so once I'm done, I'm out.
Always a good thing to know.
There's not a post credit stinger. The only thing they do where a stinger would be at a mid credit stinger thing is they just say Miles Morales will return for the next movie.
So what Marvel's been doing recently.
The title for the third. Yeah, but they've already said that they initially made this as a two-parter. So you've got Across the Spider-Verse.
I did not know that.
And you've got Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. So yeah.
Okay.
And then the third one. So it's very interesting. The first 5 minutes is fucking phenomenal. It doesn't even have Miles Morales in it. That's how good this movie is. It doesn't even have the main character in it, and it's the first 5 minutes, and it's fucking fantastic. Because what sets this one apart is that this one is a twofer story. You get an equal amount of Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales. And they do some great stuff. It's a multiverse movie, so they get to have like their little moments where they're talking about certain things. You've already had the cameo reference about the little spider nerd in Doctor Strange and in the trailer of 1999 and all that stuff. There is a Tobey Maguire cameo moment. There's also a moment where they're talking about like certain events have to happen for every Spider-Man that are canon moments, and they show a lot of canon moments from like the comics and some moments in the movies that they're talking about, hey, like this moment has to happen, and they reference moments from the movie. So there's gonna be parts, yes, there's gonna be an Andrew Garfield-esque moment. It's not a new thing, it's just they cut from one of the Andrew Garfield movies. It's not a new cameo by Andrew Garfield, but there's references to stuff. So that it's not major spoiler. It's just like, oh hey, yeah, they used footage from an old thing. Cool. They're showing it. There's wacky there's wacky stuff. There's gonna be Lego stuff. I am also happy to report this is not something that's gonna break your enjoyment. In fact, it's gonna enhance it. Yes, there are J. Jonah Jamesons in every universe. And yes, every single J. Jonah Jameson is voiced by J.K. fucking Simmons. Yes,
do they all hate him?
The only one allowed to do that.
Every single one of them is voiced by J.K. Simmons, including the one in Spider-Gwen's universe that is calling her Spider-Woman, and they all hate her. Yeah.
Is it including the female one?
This is including the one in India, by the way.
Female J. Jonah Jameson to be voiced by him.
No. We have yet to have encountered a female J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, that was so funny.
But they actually
this
did
also
do a female
includes-
JJJ in one of the animated series.
That's true.
Ooh,
But
actually, I think I've seen that one.
funny enough, there's also a Lego Spider-Man universe that is literally an exact copy of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
I love it.
It's great.
Is
It's
is it similar to the Lego movie style when they do that, or
yes?
Okay,
But
I'm
it's
sold.
literally a copy of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man era. Yeah, like that.
great.
But
like the Homecoming, etc.
No, Tobey Maguire.
No, Tobey Maguire. That's Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
The Sam Raimi stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking the. Okay, I got the names confused. I thought you were talking about the
Tobey
newer
Maguire,
stuff.
not Tom Holland.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's where I got the
Tobey
mixed up.
Maguire, not Tom Holland.
Gotcha.
So that stuff, but Lego.
Mm-hmm.
My echo.
It's a short appearance, but it's great. And of course, you're gonna get some of your old cast and everything. It's adorable. It's fun. It's wonderful. You're gonna love it. Guys, I'm just putting on your nostalgia glasses and telling you nothing of what the narrative is, what the story, and I'm not even. I'm literally just giving you like trailer moments. Oh, guys. Do you want a fun little note, just a tip of the hat nod, another little trailer moment that they didn't actually show in the trailer, but it's just kind of another fun member berries. You know how they showed off all the Spider-Mans?
Yeah.
Well, the Spider-Mans ain't the only thing that's over in the little spider connection thing. They had to go and catch all the villains and send them back home. Well, it ain't just animated villains. They got live action villains that they've been catching too.
Oh.
But it's not the same live action villains that we saw before. There's multiple Prowlers. And they have one live action Prowler, and it is in fact the same actor. Yeah. It is the same actor. Yeah, from the MCU. It is Childish Gambino as the Prowler.
I love it.
He makes a surprise appearance. It's I don't want to tell you what he does or anything like that. It's just fun.
Yeah, just tell us the movie, why don't you?
No. I don't want to tell you. I just want you to know that he makes an appearance. How he and Miles interact is going to be just, yeah. It's a multiverse. It's beautiful. Everything I'm telling you is just.
It's a Spider-Verse.
It's literally just wetting the whistle, and it's not even covering 2% of what's in this movie. This isn't. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're spoiling the movie." No, I'm not. I am by no means spoiling the movie.
You're just giving us reasons to watch it at this
point.
Yeah.
I'm making it.
I want to see this shit.
I'm making you eager. I am making you eager. I am by no means spoiling anything from the movie. People looked at the trailers for the movie. They were like, "Oh my God, you're giving everything away." No, they weren't. No, they were not. They weren't even telling you 1% of what was going on in the movie. Oh my God, no.
Does Indian Spider-Man have a dance sequence?
No, he does not.
Damn.
He has,
cool.
Dude, Indian Spider-Man is great, and I forget his name. My favorite of the Spider-Man is straight up the punk rock Spider-Man. I forget his name right now, but like when you see him later, can't wait. Also, June 16th, I'm looking forward to that because
my birthday.
The Flash.
Huh.
Flash is coming out June 16th. Or rather, Batman starring the Flash.
Batman.
Yeah, because we're getting
that's
Batman Supergirl starring the Flash. Yeah.
Ezra Miller just happens to be there. No one cares.
Does Venom suit Spidey show up? Okay. No.
I want to see the gameplay. For the next game.
However, we do have a cameo that takes place. We do have a moment where there is some universe hopping, and one of the universe that gets hopped into is Venom's world. Venom's universe.
Oh.
Literally the universe in which Venom takes place, and it's you remember the store with the Chinese grocery store lady that Venom frequents? Yeah. She makes a cameo in her store. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you who they talk with or anything because I want that to be its own thing. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, she makes an appearance. So there's a Venom appearance thing, kind of. Yeah. So the
Venom is here.
There's a Venomverse appearance, and it would have been hilarious. Yeah, if Venom had showed up. But yes, there is. They're tying stuff together, and I love that they're actually using the animated Spider-Verse to do it. I think they literally just said, here's our whole lineup of shit. Have fun. Because, dude,
we're just laying it all out on the table.
No, they got to use the full Spider-Man comic repertoire because they had like comic stuff. They had the full cartoons. Like they got they had so much license with Spider-Man properties.
It's very rude to point. You pointed at me first.
Oh
You
god,
do it the double.
meme,
You do it with 2 fingers.
dude, the meme stuff was
Kill
so
shot.
good. The meme moment was so good, dude. I want, if it wasn't so expensive, I would have loved to have been at a packed theater to just experience the reaction everybody else had with it. It would have been great. But
Could
yeah,
you just imagine just the entire theater standing up and starting pointing?
I would have loved it. I would have loved it.
Ah,
That
you
would've been
stop
so
pointing at
great.
that
I will
guy.
say
You
this,
stop pointing at
my
that
only
guy.
complaint-
You
my-
stop pointing.
My only criticism, I wouldn't say it's necessarily complaint, but my only criticism of it is literally that I don't think the soundtrack for this one was as good as the first one. The soundtrack
picked
for the
up on
first one
stories,
was
so they had to drop
so fucking fire. Like, what's up, danger?
Mhm.
I needed that what's up, danger to come back. I really needed it to come back. Ugh, we needed that moment. Anyway, that having been said, ladies and gentlemen, we need to pick up with where we are on Chapter 3. We still got quite a ways to go before we hit Chapter 4, but I think we can do it today. So, for the physical version, we're going to be at 193. I think at this point I have given enough time for you to have figured out where we are. So where are we, Shim, on Kendall?
Page 225 or 59% of the way
Okay.
through.
And over on Bookwalker?
We are at 210.
Finally, it took me this long, and I finally remembered it's Bookwalker and not Comixology.
Yeah.
All right.
In the wise words of Vegeta, I have to pay.
I have to pee too, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I
You know what?
think...
I gotta go pee. Never mind. It's fine.
Okay.
If I did.
Well, shoot.
Well. Hello, Richie.
How's your day going, Shim?
Nah, it's going okay.
New room? Yeah. Comments?
It does look nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Very clean.
to be fair, the wall behind me was just recently painted. We were going to get to that one yesterday, but we decided not to because he was busy cleaning the downstairs. So
It's a good Breath of the Wild poster. Or a canvas. I'm not sure what kind of thing that is.
I have been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom recently.
Heard it's good.
It is very good.
Heard it's very good.
Unfortunately, I got spoiled on the ending.
Oh.
Stupid thumbnails on YouTube.
Yeah. They'll do that.
Yeah. So not just the ending, but like the full ending. So I know certain things. I know certain things that, like, I had done all the memories for Tears of the Kingdom. I had gotten all the memories, so I knew like what had happened to Zelda. I'd learned about that. I was like, oh darn, I know what happened to Zelda. And then I got to the end, and I was like, you motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had been spoiled on the actual ending, and I was like, you motherfuckers, why? Because I had, like, this thought about where everything was.
I don't know what
And
you're
then-
talking about.
And I'm so mad. I'm so mad at YouTube for spoiling that.
Yeah, it's mostly just the thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, spoiler it. And it's like, it's stop.
And literally, they're like,
like
this
right
character.
there.
It's like in the thumbnail, it shows this thing, this thing, this thing, and then the surprise face, and then the text that says, this character, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? Why do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Put
It's just
massive
like,
spoiler in your fucking thumbnail, you asshole.
yeah, they do that a lot. So it's like, great.
They're like, well,
I mean, you can't really help it because it's a huge game, but it's just like, fucking god damn it. Every time. I feel like if you're really looking forward to something like a movie or like a game or something like that, you really just have to just fucking do it.
Dude,
You just have to fucking go and just go as far as you can.
Like the building stuff, like the building mechanics that people are doing, like the build crafting in Tears of the Kingdom. But like, guys, it hasn't been out that long. Keep your spoilers to your fucking self.
I know. It's pretty dumb.
Like,
Didn't like the official like things were like, hey, don't spoil it for people.
yeah.
Don't fucking do anything. Don't say anything.
So
I'll
yeah,
fucking kill you.
so for those TLDR, for those who missed it, thanks to YouTube thumbnails, I was spoiled. The ending of Tears of the Kingdom was spoiled for me. Yeah, like the actual proper ending. So I thought I knew. You're muted, by the way. Yeah, there you go.
It doesn't help that I'm also playing Breath of the Wild too. Like, hey, where's this thing? How do I do this? You know.
I mean, some of your stuff from Breath of the Wild carries over to Tears of the Kingdom, like some of your save data, like your horses, like your horses and stuff like that will carry over.
Oh, Epona's dead. I don't know how, but Epona's dead.
Go to the horse god.
I know it's 1,000. I'm like, I want to build up my house first. That's $3,000.
Just sell shit.
I did.
Do you not know how to farm rupees? It's really easy.
It's
Oh
very
yeah, but I don't want to do it
tower,
too. I
go
did
to
it.
the tower right by Hyrule, and put down wood, set up a fire, wait until the morning, fly down to the bridge. The thunder dragon will come up, shoot it in the horn. Okay, collect the horn, go back to the tower. Like
Pharaoh's horn. I do need that. Yeah.
Go to the horn. Collect the horn. Go back to the tower. Rinse, repeat.
Until you get a bunch of.
Literally do that. Keep gathering the horns. Gathering horns.
Actually, wait. No. What am I doing?
Gathering horns. Just because every morning it should come up from the lake.
Yeah, and that's just one method. You could also just like.
I mean, I know there's the snowballing as well.
Sell your shit. Sell a bunch of shit.
Because
you don't need all the rubies.
I literally farm all that stuff and then farm the dragon, dude. Okay, so the other thing. Here's the thing. Okay, so you get the champion's tunic again.
The central tower, right?
You get the champion's tunic again, but there's like a process to finding it. I got the champion's tunic again in Tears of the Kingdom.
I already got it too.
In order to actually get upgrades for it, it's a pain in the ass. I won't say what you got to do, but it's a pain in the ass.
You don't just go to the fairies anymore and have them upgrade them?
You do, it's the materials you need.
The materials you need is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what materials you need because fucking spoilers.
Well, it's not that much of a spoiler. It's just a particular dragon.
Okay, so I go to the central tower.
It's a particular dragon, but it's still a pain in the ass. All right, so anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So I go to the central tower, do a fire till morning, shoot Pharaoh's horn off, and then, yeah.
Yeah, the horn is the thing that will give you the most rupees.
Oh, God, I forgot I have the cards to deal with.
Remember, you can do multi-hits.
You can in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, like you can farm multiple horns off the same spot.
Oh, yeah, what am I... Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
That's
well,
nice.
you have to hit a different spot, but you can use the same horn.
Okay.
But it can't be this spot, and then this spot has to be this, and then up here.
I have
Take us away.
Do screen capture on this.
Everybody else, it is reading time.
It is reading time. We update
It is
the web.
It is time to find out what Adelman is going to do.
I'm gonna be listening to this in the background while I farm the horn.
Oh my goodness. I can't.
I need it for his tunic anyway.
I can't play because my TV is loud.
Well, I have it okay. I can feed all through my headset thanks to Elgato.
You can distract yourself while your horn blows off. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Go blow your horn.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Screw you guys. I'll play Zelda. I can even stream it too, technically.
Will Nintendo actually allow you to do that? I know that.
No, stream it on Discord. I mean.
Oh, okay.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. First off, yes, I can stream it on Twitch. I have been.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I know they're kind of like iffy about certain games.
No,
I'm not
actually starting?
I'm just showing it.
No, you cannot show it here. Take that off.
No, it's just Breath of the Wild. It's not actually.
It doesn't matter.
It's not
you can't show it on Fat Dog right now.
Oh yeah. It was just the menu. Anyway.
All right.
That
did that actually show up on stream?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even see.
No, just like the menu icon.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't have showed up. It just says click to watch here, and I wasn't gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna
really?
Click
oh.
It. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to opt into that, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, you gotta show it.
No. Joke's on you. I'm not into that shit. All right, Shem.
How dare you?
Take us away, please.
Okay. Upon realizing there were intruders in his domain, Adelman, the immortal king, let a smile across his fleshless lips. His teeth softly scraped together, making a light clattering sound. It might have been hard to tell, but this was Adelman's take on a villainous grin. You seem to be in a good mood, Lord Adelman. This was Alberto speaking, a former paladin and Adelman's closest associate. Following in his footsteps, even after his boss fell into a trap and died. After joining Rimaru's force, Alberto had been demoted all the way down to skeletal fighter, about as low level a monster as you could be, but at least he wasn't rubbed out entirely. He normally wouldn't be able to speak at all, but he demonstrated perfect fluency. Why? Simple. The Alberto of right now was no longer a plain old skeleton. He wasn't even a Death Knight. Several rungs up the ladder. No. He was a Death Paladin, far above either of those. And while he was a white possessed no material body, he looked just the same as before death. True, he was rather pale, and there were blue will-o-wisps floating around him, so it was clear he wasn't living and breathing, but regardless. Adelman, meanwhile, had no particular attachment to his flesh body. In fact, he rather liked being nothing but skeleton. But Alberto didn't share his view, and given how his magical force far surpassed the regular Death Knights, he had the ability to freely construct whatever body he wanted from magicules, and Alberto had both an affinity for and a sense of pride in his old appearance. A fresh and energetic-looking, or as energetic as a ghoul could appear, young man. This body was protected by an ominous-looking set of armor, making it clear at one glance that Alberto wasn't to be trifled with. Yes, Alberto. A very good mood. It seems we have guests. Alberto nodded gleefully. Ah, so our moment is here at last? They knew each other so intimately by this point that few words were needed. Indeed, the time has finally come. Time to serve the Demon Lord who granted us this peaceful abode. With as much power as we've been given, you know that mistakes will not be permitted. Of course not. I, Alberto, am fully aware of that.
I'm so sorry. I'm laughing.
What's up?
Alberto.
I'm laughing because I know what's coming and I'm choking on my saliva.
Yeah, he's.
Don't get too carried away.
They're about to enter the bone zone, or somebody is going to enter the bone zone.
They're about to be boned
Mm.
by the Bone Daddy himself.
Bone Daddy. Oh, God.
Yep,
Damn
you gotta
it.
make that joke before Moon does.
All this does is just remind me of the stupid jokes that we made yesterday.
Oh, like a bunch of skeleton bone puns.
No, you guys had to be there. You missed it. We were talking about Shiro being an overlord because that was a thing that we had planned like a while back that we were like, nah, because copyright reasons. But we started making jokes about like how Albedo would just make like fucking terrible skeleton puns, and these assholes started it, and then I jumped on board.
Kept going.
Oh God, skeletons of jokes.
Man. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Very humorous indeed.
Oh man.
A skeleton's worth, if you will.
Merrily
To
escaped.
be fair,
making
they were
another pun.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Tibia.
See, Moon liked it. Don't give me that look.
Oh.
Literally, you just said this. I literally said skeletons of jokes, and then you just come back with the same.
A skeleton of joke, or a skeleton of joke. Oh, okay, I hear what you mean now. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, bro, I literally just said the same thing like 30 seconds before you.
Yeah, but I had a different inflection on it,
Look.
which transforms it into something completely different. Apparently,
Regardless,
Really.
it's still a rib tickler.
It's still funny. Yeah, it still tickles the funny bone.
I know. You're just femoring it out.
The calm before the sternum, as they say.
This is
when
all
you-
quite humorous, but I guess we should move on.
I know you're not hip to it, but just calm down.
That's a slap on the knee bone.
Oh man, this is a real pain in the tailbone.
Yep.
We're really stretching out the spine on this one. Come on.
Actually, I bet that would be really good.
Oh man.
I heard it actually does feel good.
Where?
Oh
Where
man.
were
Of course not. I, Alberto, am fully aware of that.
Yeah,
I think that's
we should really get back to reading. We've had enough skullduggery for one evening.
yeah.
Yeah.
Forgive me for repeating myself then. All this excitement must be loosening my tongue. The two looked at each other and smiled, then another joined in. A blood-curdling scream.
Okay, first off, Damn it.
Oh.
My book almost slid away. There we go.
There we go.
Just well done, sir, on that dragon growl right there. Just
Yeah.
yeah. Golf clap.
Thank you.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, there we go. No.
Too late already.
Fucking- What the fuck?
There.
How do you have access to that? Oh,
Everyone. That's like the default stuff.
I forget.
Hang on.
That's right.
Hang on.
And now he's turning it off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'm not sorry. That was a genuine golf clap we were giving to Shim. So
We can do it ourselves. Stop using the.
I
sound.
know, but it's just, if you have it,
We're the
that's it.
streamers that are entertaining. We need to be entertaining first before we start using a soundboard. Soundboard is the lazy man's way out. Stop it. Be an entertainer yourself. Don't
Stop
rely
it.
on
Get
machines.
some help.
Entertaining.
See, it's this shit right here. That's the reason our jobs are getting taken by AI.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think there's.
We're
an AI
losing the
streamer just
writers.
yet.
Oh yes,
No,
there
give it
are. Oh yes, there are. Hi, motherfucker.
Oh god. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
but you play an AI who streams. There's a difference.
Is there really?
Yes,
Dave?
very much there
Is there,
a difference.
Dave? Is there
Oh, God, he used the
really?
D word. He condemned you to the D word.
I condemned you to the D.
I
word.
could take my money from Patreon and go somewhere else.
Okay. All the millions you're making
wasn't
from
that
Patreon.
the joke of like you're no longer a Dave because you're actually paying or whatever? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know for stream it is.
Sure,
Or, like,
double-
if you subscribe or whatever.
Double down on your Daveness. Wow. Yeah.
Let me just pull up my
Daviddy.
coffee and, drink the $5 I got from
Oh
there.
no, he's
and
gonna
go to
pull out his
Starbucks.
Dave
Ooh.
dick. Oh no.
Oh no!
No,
Wait,
no.
do Dave? Hold on. Do Dave have
Wait.
a
If
dick?
you retract from Patreon, is that a pull-out maneuver?
Mm,
All right.
It's the-
Anyway.
yeah.
Do Daves
Oh,
even have dicks?
God.
I don't know.
Oh
Mm.
god. If they do, they're not very big.
Yeah,
Of course.
Lord,
they
my
have
poor
Dave
brother.
penises.
Because let's think about it. They were jumping off buildings trying to make them grow a little bit, you know? Trying to get that
How-
extra 5 centimeters.
What's the logic there?
Trying to get him a couple centimeters, man. Alright, anyway,
That-
what was the
okay.
logic?
What's the logic? Like, how in their minds does that make sense? Like, jumping off this building is gonna make my dick grow.
There
Please
wasn't- there-
elaborate.
There's no logic. They're Dave's. What logic?
I don't feel like that's acceptable for me.
Welcome
That's
welcome
upsetting
to
for
what
you,
it
I
feels
guess.
like to be menu every moment of every day.
Yep.
There is no logic. It is not acceptable.
No, it's every
And the
moment
points
of
don't
every
matter.
Dave.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I want. All right, for my next car, I'm naming it Raphael, and literally, I'm gonna have a sticker on it that says the other voice in my head won't stop naming everything.
I like that.
The other half of me won't stop naming
The other voice in my head won't stop naming everything. I love it. All right, moving on.
Gotcha.
Eventually.
A blood-curdling scream echoed across the city of the dead.
Oh yay!
Ah,
Those are the best
see.
kinds of screams.
Eh,
Stop making
blood
more
curdling
than
kind.
you mad.
The bone-rattling kind.
never.
Yeah. Ah, I see we're not the only excited ones here. Very well. Today you will have an occasion to fully unfurl your powers. Prove your loyalty to our god. Quietly but quickly, the area was awash in the
Thickly.
incoming trio's ardor. Oh, sorry. Quietly but thickly, the area was awash in the incoming trio's ardor. Ardor? Yeah, interesting. Adelman's faith had died once, only to be reconquered by his new god, the demon lord Rimuru. It had been several months since tasting bitter defeat. He had hoped fervently that he could help Rimuru, and so in just those few months, Adelman had regained his powers as a White King, more powerful than even at the pinnacle of his career. That was how deep his faith extended. Ah, he looks so cool. I like him.
Yeah, you see the picture now?
Yeah, he's cool.
It's so badass.
To Rimuru,
Looks like
of
a
course.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking cool. I love
Kind of
Bone
looks
Knight.
like Overlord a little bit if he chose to go more with the King angle.
I mean, his...
Skeleton, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but
yeah. To... All the fucking... Dude, I love Eurovision. It's
I'm
great.
sorry, but all I'm hearing through this entire thing is Bone Trouser.
Oh, that. I know. It's like he's. See, in my head, he's. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going with Silly Symphonies. The old.
Oh, the skeleton dance.
Spooky, scary
No,
skeleton.
no.
Crunch shivers
Shivers down your
No,
spine.
no, stop, no. We were going with old school stuff. How
Yeah, they
dare
do
you.
That is
the
old
wiggle.
school.
No,
Yes,
no.
it's very.
I can't even do
1927
that.
Silly Symphony stuff.
Yeah, that's
old
dance
school.
when they do that, and then they go back like
old
Yeah.
school. Like before.
Spooky, scary skeletons is around the same time, my guy.
No, it's not.
Hold on.
Spooky Scary Skeletons is from the 90s, not the 1920s.
Spooky,
No.
scary
Yes.
skeleton come
that.
out.
I actually don't even know where that song.
1996 is when Spooky Scary Skeletons came out.
Thank
Really?
you. Yes, you dumbass.
Mhm.
It sounds so much older than that.
It is not. It came out on
Yeah.
Kids WB.
A lot
Yeah.
of things came out on Kids WB.
Silly Symphonies came out in the theaters in old school Walt Disney.
Yeah, that was
It was part of the nickel theater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a nickel. Oh.
It was in the black and white early days of theater.
Yeah, they even did an homage to it in Billy and Mandy, so
Yeah.
which was fun. But
Anyway, sorry.
yeah. To Rimuru, of course, his faith was as excessive as it was stifling. In fact, he had already thought, "Sorry, guys, but you don't have a chance," and pinned his expectations on the next Guardian. But Adelman didn't know that, and he was eager for a fight, or to fight. This time for sure, and every time after this, defeat was not an option. He had to win, and continue winning. And so Adelman and his cohorts waited for the foolish intruders who would come at any moment, carefully discussing their strategy as they anticipated what was to come. I mean, it sounds
The
like some kind of
strategy.
massacre rather than a battle.
love this, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go,
Yeah.
baby.
An intense battle began and ended in an instant. Well, really.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It-
What?
Yeah.
well,
It's like that.
That's it?
Yamcha's here. Yamcha's
Yamcha's
dead.
dead.
I'm gonna go
That's
make a sandwich.
basically it. Okay.
Because it
Well-
was like that.
Yeah, all right. Well,
And-
really, I'd like to call it intense, but in fact, it was so one-sided that it left my mouth agape. I'd even brought along a deck of cards in case things got boring midway, but I never had to bust them out. In the end, Adelman simply dominated. It was a stark, vivid victory, one I could hardly believe I was watching. The challengers were hardly pushovers. They weren't sick or injured. They were in perfect health and enthusiastic to start fighting, but Adelman's team performed above them in every way. Statistically speaking, this wasn't a mismatch. I had finished analyzing the challengers' skills, and they looked stronger than Adelman. All three of them merited an over A rank, and each one boasted their own unique skill. Shingichi's, in particular, was Restorer, quite a rare one. It gained or granted him control over the structures of tiny viruses, letting him destroy living creatures from the inside. He could even modify the composition of the air around him to create lethal, contagious viral clouds. It was pretty crazy, really. Could any living thing deal with that, or with like that? Excuse me. Could any living thing deal with that? Like, unless you could detect these clouds of pathogens you would need a microscope to see, you had no chance of beating Shinji. That, and he could use this to heal people too, even more efficiently than medical nanomachines. Son, the all-purpose flexibility... What?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I had to. The
Man,
all-purpose-
animal sheet, son.
Yeah. The hardened response to physical trauma. The all-purpose flexibility Restorer offered was just amazing. Next, Mark's power was derived from his unique skill Hurler. It allowed him to throw anything he could hold in his hands like a javelin. Really, anything he could lift up, including monsters. Combine it with gravity control magic, and he'd be more of a threat than nearly any space weapon. I'd say the skill was more suited for effectively taking on entire armies instead of single targets. Finally, Shen's unique skill was a kind of mix of useful tools. The unique skill Observer allowed him to instinctively dodge threats, detect danger and traps, and discover monsters and other presences before they appeared. He could... Well, hold on. One thing. Did you guys refer to him as Shen or as Zen? Did they
The X
mention him
name
before?
or-
The Z name, the Jen,
Oh,
Shen,
Jin.
Jin? Okay. Detect danger and traps and discover monsters and other presence before they appeared. He could even pick up on Shinji's viral clouds. All this combined with Jin, right?
Yeah, Jin.
Okay. Jin's own fighting abilities, which made him capable of evading or fleeing just about anything. He was fast, he was nimble, and traps basically didn't work on him, the mortal enemy of any labyrinth. That about summed it up. It was a real buffet of sweet looking skills, and I'd definitely be gaining some inspiration from them. Each one was a huge boon by itself, but they also worked so well with one another. The real key to this trio's record making run. I don't think I could be blamed for assuming they'd steamroll right over Adelman. But I was wrong. It turns out Adelman had spent the past few months getting buff, so to speak. I mean, normally a non-sentient monster would never really change in terms of fighting ability from what's originally granted. If it could survive several decades or so, you'd see some improvement then, but the process took more than a few years at least. And then we have Adelman and Alberto here. Like, what is this? How did you guys get so powerful? And also, what the heck's up with that dragon? Peeking into that boss chamber, I spotted Adelman, Albert, and an evil-looking dragon I had never seen before. Nearly 40 feet in length and oozing a deadly-looking miasma from its mouth. Who the hell dragged that in? Something clearly had been going on while I was out on my international tour. Wait. Yeah. Surprised, aren't you? I kind of kept this from you on purpose, but you know how you gave those guys some new equipment? Well, they really dug that stuff, so they've been working extremely hard on the training. And, you know how high the magical levels are across the dungeon, right? Well, they've been absorbing some of it, and now Adelman and Alberto have regained their old powers. Mira sounded like a guy on a prank video revealing everything to the victim. And yeah, taking a closer look, Adelman had evolved from White to White King. He was still a skeleton, and his gear was just as gaudy as ever, so I didn't notice at first, but his magical power was off the charts now. Alberto, meanwhile, had skipped Death Knight entirely and was now a Death Paladin, a super high-level monster. White Kings and Death Paladins have magical levels about even with an Archdemon? Well, excuse me. White Kings and Death Paladins have magical levels about even with an Archdemon, don't they? I said. Look at these meek little underlings, striving so hard to be of aid to us. They made evolution sound so easy, and what's more, they powered up beyond anything I could have guessed. What about that dragon? Oh, didn't you know, Rimuru? That's Adelman's pet, Ramirez announced. Pet? Come to think of it, I did remember Adelman talking about keeping a pet, maybe. I just didn't expect it to be this wicked-looking dragon. In fact, or it was, in fact, a death dragon, the alpha predator of the undead monster hierarchy. Junior and the rest of the cabinet were familiar with it, apparently, so Ramirez honestly thought I knew as well. That was my fault, I suppose. It's so important to have everybody on the same page in upper management. So, as for how this battle unfolded, well, there's really not much to say. In fact, Adelman didn't even move an inch from his throne, and the death dragon stayed ensconced on his left side. Only Alberto stepped forward, and he beat all of them by himself. Mark's Minos Bardiche wasn't even given the time to spread its stuff. It was stopped in its tracks by the similarly unique class Cursed Sword. And Mark was promptly slashed down afterward. Oh. The sight stopped Jin in his tracks, leaving him open for a moment, and Alberto seized the opportunity. His speed made him almost seem to disappear for a moment as he unleashed upon Jin, and that by itself spelled the end for him. This made Shinji mutter, "Huh?" in surprise, where he scrambled towards Alberto, blasting out a holy cannon magic spell. This was a common ability among paladins, but not many civilians had access to it. Shinji didn't mention any paladin training in his immigration papers, so I imagine it was a hidden last resort for him. This spell was suited for speed, and it landed a clean direct hit on Alberto. It seemed like he dodged it for a moment, but maybe Alberto let his guard down, or so I thought. But I had no reason to worry. Alberto simply didn't move because he had no need to evade it. Shinji managed to squeak out an, "Oh, come on!" before Alberto swung his sword down upon him.
I feel like it was more of a, "Oh, come on!"
Oh, just like,
Come on!
Oh, okay, so it was more like a, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
Before Alberto swung his sword down upon him.
Because
Then it was all over.
Because there is a thing
is he,
from
like,
last
mad?
week that you were missing.
Mm-hmm.
They
I'm missing a
figured out.
tiny bit of context.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They figured out that the person that designed this
Mm-hmm.
was a gamer from the other world. They were like, "Oh, this is
Gamer.
basically a dungeon crawler. If you play video games, you totally understand."
Like Etrian
this."
Odyssey-esque. Yeah. But, I mean, Alberto's still undead, right? Isn't he weak against the holy attribute? I know I'm not the only one to think that, but Alberto was kept safe, and it was entirely thanks to Adelman. It turned out to be his previously hidden extra skill, known as Holy Evil Inversion at work.
Hold on. I'm still
More like,
queuing.
holy shit!
Holy
Yeah.
shit inversion. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Holy shit! You gotta say it like that too.
Yeah.
Report.
I like it when they have the whole like, okay, he killed him in a flash. Now, all right, everybody, let's go back and see that in slow motion.
Report.
Ooh.
Holy Evil Inversion is the secret skill crafted by the subject Adelman. It has the effect of swapping the holy attribute with the evil one, and vice versa.
Oh. Adelman used this to change Alberto's attribute from evil to holy. That's awesome. The effect didn't extend to his equipment, but since Alberto was undead, there wasn't any life force for his cursed gear to suck away. So his elemental attribute didn't matter along those lines. Plus, if an ally applied that skill to him, there was no chance of his body resisting it. A holy undead? What kind of joke is this? It was unholy, if anything, but
Yeah.
Adelman's holy evil version.
Holy shit!
Literally,
If you will.
Literally the Uno reverse card.
So literally, he's a holy undead, and it was like, I cast holy, and Alberto goes, no, you.
That is actually
Like,
kind of cool.
I
forget
cast
what,
Uno reverse. What?
It literally is. It's the fucking attribute reverse card. I'd be like, I blast you with like holy energy. Nah, it's evil, bro.
Nah. I cast fire. No, it's water.
Exactly. That's
You
actually
just gave
kind
him
of
a bath.
ability. But anyway. And as a spiritual life
so
form,
broken.
yeah, a little bit, but
It is. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of fucking broken. because
Imagine if you
literally-
just decided you wanted to be like do something really mundane,
Mhm.
like just like basic water magic or whatever. Not
Think
to say
about
that's mundane, 'cause
Think about
depending
it.
on the aspect
What is,
of it.
What is an undead's one real weakness?
Holy magic.
like healing.
Holy magic,
Magic,
healing,
white
all
magic.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally, what happens if you flip that? So if somebody starts
It's just-
using your weakness against you, and you're like, no, but reverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basic.
It's
yeah.
like it's
Fuck.
like what if you hit something that was supposed to be super effective and change it to the other way around?
I mean, it's
Non-effective.
basically Wonder Guard.
Yeah.
Basically,
Oh,
Wonder
if-
Guard, but your weakness is all applied for and accounted
If
for.
Ninja had Uno reverse.
Yeah,
on
it's
any
kind of like
move that could
that.
be
It
super
basically,
effective.
the equivalent would be if it could change the type of the move before it hit it to something that can't hit it. So
Oh,
it'd be like
that is
that.
a thing. That's the
So-
protein ability.
It's like literally
No.
as you're about to cast any type of magic.
But
on
Ninja's
something.
protein ability changes the ability.
No.
Yeah.
It does, but not like before it gets hit by something.
Yeah.
That's
No, it's
you're
been hit.
thinking
It's before.
camouflage. You're thinking about camouflage. It
No,
does, but
it's
it's
protein.
before it attacks.
Yeah.
Camouflage
That's
is
protein.
like it changes type after it gets hit by something into something that resists it.
Oh, okay,
Protein,
you're thinking of a
like,
different
changes the
concept.
type that it uses, or it changes the type to the move that it
We're getting
uses.
way too meta.
It's going to
We're
use.
getting
Yeah,
way
yeah,
too
yeah,
meta.
yeah.
Anyway, you get it. You get
No,
it.
no, I get what you mean. You get what I mean.
My
Yeah.
brain cells
Yeah.
are on fire now. Let's move on.
It's
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Pokemon.
Pokemon competitive nerd
We're
talk.
poking logics in Pokemon here. We're
Yeah.
trying to
Anime
move it
Church
over
was
this line.
yesterday. Praise Arceus.
That's true.
We weren't
I
there.
have-
This is our anime church. This is me and Shiv's anime church time.
No,
No,
we
it's
can't
not.
take over
You
the
missed it
stream.
yesterday. Too late.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah,
All right.
we can't take over the stream. Anyway, most
Yeah.
melee strikes didn't work on him. As a duo, they had also overcome their weakness against holy attacks.
Mhm.
Really, I didn't see how any normal dungeon runner team could take them. So Adaman won, and without even using any of the magic I taught him. Shinji's team was defeated in truly anticlimactic fashion, fading into clouds of light before departing the chamber. Well, good. Well-
so here's the funny part. Reaver's like, guess we'll have to wait on floor 70, and then that happened, and he's like, shit.
Yeah.
So here's
Yep.
here's the funny thing. Are you sure you got the right floor boss on the right floor?
Mm.
Because this seems this seems way too fucking powerful.
This seems like a floor 90 thing,
No,
or like a final boss kind of thing.
no.
Not even.
No. Veldora would wipe his ass with Adelman.
Yeah, that's true because he is
Yeah.
the Storm Dragon and he
Yeah.
is the top floor boss and
Yeah.
final boss for a reason. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Also,
Rimuru.
Zegian and Apito, please. Like, there's no way
Plug
Adelman can
people.
handle those two.
Yeah, they just Just
Yeah.
pound his bones into nothing.
You gotta understand that the insectoid thing that Shuna was having such trouble with,
Mm-hmm.
that's essentially what Zegian's race is.
They're like anti-magic bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, as strong as Zegian was, he didn't have a sparring partner named Veldora.
Mm. Yep.
Veldora's been training Zegian personally.
Yeah. They hit the gym.
They're gym bros. There's a
They're just-
difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One spot's the other.
Yeah.
Dost thou even lift this thunder, bro?
He drinks his milk daily.
Can't even
Get that
Not just any
protein
milk.
shake.
Muscle
Hey,
milk.
You can't even lift
The
storm
raw
clouds,
egg.
my man. Oh my god.
Fight milk every day.
Fight milk.
At least,
oh my god.
at least a full cup.
Oh my god.
You understand,
What's the equivalent of protein shakes here?
Fight milk
Fight milk. Yeah.
or muscle milk.
Go-
Muscle milk is a real thing. so,
Goatus glory holes.
No, that's the snack. That's the post-workout snack.
Alright, anyway,
Load
please
up on your
continue.
carbs,
Good god.
Yeah. My lord,
Forever.
were you watching us? We dedicate this glorious victory to you. Watching Adelman shout his dedication at the top of his non-existent lungs, a thought occurred. Isn't Adelman's gang a little too much force to bust out for floor 60?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Yes. I mean, yeah,
If it's worth
did tell
doing,
him.
it's worth overdoing.
Yeah, that's fair. I did tell him that if a party approached, he should fight back with a party of his own. He certainly took that advice to heart, and he certainly didn't try to outnumber his opponent. No, but this is getting pretty close to fraud. Like, come on. If you have a special A monster and a calamity level threat, or a calamity level threat, and 3 of them at once, you could destroy a lot of the smaller kingdoms out there. By the looks of things, they still had some other tricks they were hiding too. So I decided to interrogate Ramirez about that later. For now, I needed to offer Adelman my congratulations. Well done, Adelman. Why don't you come up to the control room? No need to talk through the screen like this. Oh, such a joyous honor. I will be by your side post-haste, my lord. As stiflingly formal as always. Well, that's how he is, I suppose. And Alberto can talk as well these days, huh? Can you bring him along? Very well. As for my death dragon, let's have it keep guard over there, okay? Yes, my lord. The death dragon whimpered a bit about that, but I had to stand firm about this. Oh, I mean, it's freaking 40 feet long. Maybe we could fit him in the special chamber we made for Veldora on floor 100, but this control room just ain't that big. I felt kind of bad for the guy, but he'd have to give up on that. So I ordered Shion to make some tea for Adelman and Alberto. Can he drink it? She asked. He's nothing but bones. Right. Yeah. Looks like Alberto found a body, kind of, but Adelman's still nothing but a skeleton. Maybe he can enjoy the aroma at least? Well, this is, a polite gesture for him. I see. Very well. We chatted a bit more as we waited for their arrival. We are here, Sir Rimuru. I offer you my sincere gratitude for the honor of personally experiencing your holy visage. Adelman and Alberto both kneeled before me. In person like this, instead of through the screen, I realized just how much more powerful they were now. I could hardly believe they were the same people as before. Yes, well done. Alberto was your name, was it? You have proven to be quite an effective fighter. And Adelman, you have done an exemplary job as a guardian. Keep up the good work. That's right. Keep it up. Veldora and Ramirez heaped praise on him before I could speak up. If they got to give out all the praise first, I wasn't too sure what I should follow up with. But let's just keep it benign. Yeah, I tell you, it's been a while since I've seen you guys, so I'm kind of shocked at how much you've grown. Grown, or I suppose evolved is the right term, isn't it? That trio was pretty strong, so I seriously thought they'd struggle, but no, I better not say that. Sometimes there are things better thought than stated out loud. Yes, my lord. Both of them were visibly moved. I had them sit down, trying to hide my pangs of guilt. Truly a fine aroma, said Alberto. If offered by anyone else, I might have taken it as sarcasm, perhaps. Oh yeah? Should have seen that coming. We can't drink it. It's just unfair, isn't it? Or it's just unfair, isn't it? But when offered by my lord, I find the scent truly satisfying or deeply satisfying for my heart. It has truly rejuvenated my body. Well, great, but Shion made it, so, Good. How delicious, sweet, and fragrant like nectar. I, Alberto, cannot offer enough gratitude for this wondrous moment of bliss. Geez, don't lay it on too much. I guess Alberto had built a physical body for himself with magicals, a kind of temporary vessel which are made possible inside the labyrinth. Why don't you take on a full body as well, Adelman? I asked. Pardon me? Well, I mean, you could enjoy that tea more, so... Yes, perhaps, my lord, but in my case, well, I prefer to project a certain image, you could say. Uh-huh. That was kind of over my head, but if it was important to Adelman, it's nothing I have a right to comment on. Fair, no need to force it in that case. I changed the subject. By the way, I was really impressed by how you approached using Holy Evil Inversion. The fact that you developed it at all, shows me how hard you've been working. Thank you very much. Sir Beretta provided me with some assistance, and also, I asked about Holy Evil Inversion as a quick way to shift the topic, but this was actually pretty surprising. It turned out that even Luminous lent him a hand. Lady Luminous taught me day-night inversion, one of her secret techniques, you see. An apology, as she referred to it. Sir Beretta then applied his unique skill Reverser to modify it, and then I was able to master it. And there you have it. I suppose Luminous was apologizing for letting the 7 Days Clergy act out of line. Why was Granville trying to kill someone as talented as Adelman? I had my own reasoning for that. Outside of Granville, the 7 Days Clergy members were all obsessed about keeping their positions safe from threats. They were all trying to eliminate Adelman, but Granville must have reasoned that he'd only be useful if he could overcome the trap they set for him. Instead, Adelman and that zombie dragon killed each other off. Something Granville may not have intended. Maybe his perspective was along the lines of, if you can't beat an enemy at that level, you'll never become a guardian of humankind anyway, or the like. Seeing Granville's final moments, supremely proud but all alone in life, I couldn't help but think that. Still, it wouldn't be right to bring it up with Adelman. It's something I'd like him to realize himself someday. But for now, time for another subject change. Well, that's wonderful. I'll have to send Luminous my thanks later on. But, Adelman. Yes. At this point, you can beat the Guardian of Floor 70, can't you? How do you mean, my lord? He seemed confused, so I spelt it out for him in detail. Ellipses. Currently, Floor 61 through 70 were nicknamed the Golem Zone, filled with inorganic, tirelessly working sentries. Some of the specialized area bosses on those floors even wielded test versions of the firearms we were working on. Oh. There were also a lot of brutal traps headed up primarily by landmines, but none of them were particularly lethal. The zone was overall meant as a trial for people playing the healer role in adventuring parties. The main boss of the zone was a new machine, a modified version of the Elemental Colossus. Vesta had finally completed it with the help of Kaijin. It still boasted the high defense Magisteel offered, but now was lighter and more compact, making it mobile, while keeping the pilot's seat fully protected. It wasn't sentient, but it had room for a pilot inside, although it could also run on the thoughts of a remote pilot. Oh, that's cool. At the moment, I believe Beretta was operating it remotely. I liked that. It certainly eliminated the threat of viral cloud attacks, and not even a Minos Bardiche could cut through a Magisteel body. Its armor also featured a layered structure, the shielding scales from Cardi B granting it the powers of magic interference. Yeah, we had to do those. It was a completely invincible Metal Guardian, once the Elemental Colossus, now called the Demon Colossus. And I was fully sure Shinji's party would never make it past floor 70. More ellipses. However, after seeing how Adelman fought today, I was starting to reconsider matters. Veldora, who do you think's stronger, Adelman or the Demon Colossus? Adelman, without a doubt. Right? So you see, Adelman, we're going to promote you to floor 70. There you go. If Veldora agreed with me, I couldn't be mistaken.
Understood. The power comparison between the subjects Adelman and the Demon Colossus is...
I don't think need the numbers, thanks. This is more about image, so... I, Adelman, promise to expend every effort to live up to your expectations. And I, your humble servant Alberto, promise to support my master Adelman with every fiber of my being. They kneeled before me again as they made their pledges. They had changed so much that when I had taken my eyes off them, the Demon Colossus was hardly any slouch, but honestly, it didn't really have the gravitas a boss needed. That, and if it got broken again, it'd just break our hearts. We had to implant it with the soul, or it wouldn't be subject to Ramirez's powers in the dungeon, so we can't experiment to see if it get resurrected after being smashed up. Maybe with a soul, things would be different, or if there was a pilot inside it, would that work? Oh, but if somebody was possessing it, maybe it wouldn't be treated as an item any longer. Regardless, we sadly had no plans along those lines yet. I thus saw no reason why we shouldn't promote Adelman and his crew. All right. And as of today, I want to have floors 51 through 60 switched with floors 61 through 70. Roger, you got it, said Ramirez. And so we restructured the labyrinth right then and there. Following Adelman's exemplary performance, the dungeon had a new hierarchy.
I gotta stop you there and hand it over to Moon.
That's right. Oh. Moon?
Hold on.
Oh, gotcha.
I think I lost
Following Adelman's exemplary
Okay, I
performance.
found it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Following Adelman's exemplary performance, the dungeon had a new hierarchy. That took care of matters for now, so I was about to order Adelman out of the control room when the previously silent Diablo spoke up. We seem to be at the end of the conversation, so I have something I'd like to report to you. What's that? Well, my servant Razan sent a magical call stating that he has something to urgently discuss with you. It seems his former instructor, or the like, called upon him, and now this man is asking for an audience with you, Sir Rimuru. His name is Ghidorah. Never heard of him.
Report. He is listed as the author of a number of books on sorcery.
Oh, he's famous, huh? I thought Razan was a pretty well-known and talented sorcerer himself, but his master must have been more so, huh? Kinda interesting. I wouldn't mind meeting him, but... Wouldn't that be a trap, though? Wait, who's saying this? I'm going to assume it's Reamer.
Yeah, it's
Wouldn't that be a trap, though? We're on the eve of duking it out with the Empire, so a meeting at this point seems really suspicious, I think. Exactly. There's no need at all for you to meet with such a dubious person, Sir Rimuru. Shion was even more doubtful than I was, and I could see why. Given the times we lived in, if my personal guardian wanted to keep me away from danger, well, she was just doing her job. I wasn't nearly as wary as her, so I figured it was better to listen to my advisors for matters like these. Indeed, I see no need to lend an ear to the opinions of someone on the level of Razan. Oh no, that's Diablo.
Yeah.
No wonder. Indeed, I see no need to lend an ear to the opinions of someone of that level of Razan. In fact, I hardly even need to listen to him at all. Diablo made this sound like an accepted fact, but I was sure he just wanted to be excused from all this. Regardless, if both of my personal secretaries were advising me against it, I was ready to call this off. But then I noticed Adelman fidgeting a bit. Yeah, I understood how he felt. Sometimes, just when you're about to leave your boss's office, a phone call or unexpected visitor comes along. You don't want to interfere, but you don't want to just walk out on the boss either. So you're stuck there, helplessly watching the clock tick away. Or is it just me? Regardless, sorry, Adelman. That's all I needed from you, so you guys can leave. No, my lord. There's no need to be concerned about us. But apart from that... To tell the truth, Yes? This man, Ghidorah, that you speak of. I believe this may perhaps be a friend of mine. Huh? I turned my eyes to Adelman. He was shifting a bit in his seat, looking flustered. I almost wanted to say, "No, Adelman, you're allowed to have friends. I don't think you've betrayed me." So I asked Diablo to hold his opinion for now while Adelman gave me more details. He and Ghidorah, as he put it, were close friends over 1,000 years ago. I'd figured he'd have to be long dead in that case, but Ghidorah was a master-level wizard, so it wouldn't be unheard of if he wove his own magic to extend his life. After all, this was the very man who cast reincarnation on Adelman to save him. Adelman also recognized the name Razan. As he recalled, he was one of Ghidorah's primary apprentices. We kept discussing them for a while, and as we did, it was increasingly clear this Ghidorah wanting to see me was the exact same guy. Diablo? Understood. I will arrange a date and time. Such a talented secretary. All I had to do was call his name, and he instantly recognized my intentions. My not-so-talented other secretary had no objections, so I decided to go ahead and give Ghidorah a tryout.
Awesome.
So guys, that whole reason for him wanting to destroy Luminism and all that shit, right here.
Yes.
Him.
Right here.
No.
The guy
He's currently the boss of floor 60.
The guy that he thinks is dead, and his whole reason for wanting to destroy Luminism? No, floor 70.
No, 70. Yes.
Promoted.
My bad. Got
Promoted. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Also,
it's right here. The fucking odds.
Also, I'm
What were the
really
odds of
sorry.
that?
Sorry for what?
I just love how in my mind he's like a Dark Souls-esque like boss, and then in your mind he's Papyrus. I love it.
Yeah,
As soon as you're
exactly.
like,
Oh, yeah, no.
I believe this may perhaps be a friend of mine. All I thought was just, hey guys, it's me. I mean, Ghidorah.
I get you, Undertale protagonist.
I don't know. I just found it really funny.
Jokes
Just
Also,
the
the way you
contrast
do a
of
Sans
understanding.
voice, the way you do a Sans voice. Is,
I'm into that shit.
Hey guys, it's me, Sans.
I guess you'd have to do it with both of
oh yeah.
Jokes on you. I'm into
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I just love
yeah.
that.
just keep
I
it going.
get
Anyway.
you, He-Man.
And you have
With their
dog,
defeat-
too.
Mhm.
All right, 237 is where we gotta be, and we're at 207, so not too bad.
With their defeat on floor 60, Shinji's party got to experience returning from death for the very first time. They woke up to find a large audience thanking them, cheering them, booing them, even reassuring them that they couldn't have avoided that loss. Their battles in the labyrinth were broadcast live, and Shinji's conquest was turning into a popular diversion. Dungeon challengers, of course, had the right to turn down any recording or broadcast of their exploits. It was a purely optional contract to sign, but Shinji had two reasons to go through with it. One, they got a cut of the broadcast fees, and two, they figured becoming famous would help keep them safe. They were in enemy territory, so if they became known names, it'd be that much harder for someone to assassinate them.
Dick
And since the
first in
contract-
enemy territory.
And since the contract only allowed their boss fights to be broadcast, they didn't have to be on edge the entire time. Speaking of, it looked like the contract would be pretty lucrative for them, besides, so Shinji had no reason to turn it down. The same was true for his companions, so Shinji signed on the dotted line, and the result was this huge crowd greeting them now. Boy, that was too bad. Hope you train up a little more and try again. Man, those guys never stood a chance. What kind of monsters were those anyways? He swung that sword like it was a twig. And what about the skeleton on the throne? Some kind of legendary monster? It was probably a White King, the earth-shattering ruler of the dead. Not even an archdemon could take him.
I
Whoa,
like
so
I
was that-
like that you went all nerdy with that one guy. Actually,
Look, I'm just coming up
I
with random
loved
voices.
it.
No,
that
that
was
works. I
great.
like it.
Actually,
No, that was
That works.
great.
Yeah,
Fucking
perfect.
on point. That was
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was nice.
Yeah.
Whoa, so was that dragon alive or not, though? It didn't look like a statue or anything, but if it could have joined the battle too, I don't think any human being had a chance in there. The questions came hard and fast, just like me, from the audience.
Heyo.
Shinji's party just smiled and waved as they
No.
found their way out of there. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and
That's
wave.
why.
By the way, boys.
That's why you don't get those second dates, because you just keep coming hard and fast.
He doesn't need it. He's finished after the first one.
One pump.
Yeah.
One
Hey,
done.
it takes at least 1.5.
1.5.
1.5.
Like
That
an
implies that there was a
espresso
second
machine.
date.
That's an upgrade, okay? It used to just take one stare. An incredibly passionate stare, but you know, a
Jizz
stare.
in my pants.
I opened the
Oh,
window,
friends.
felt a cool breeze.
Jesus.
Oh shit, where
that
was
a
I?
Throw it
Bible
on the
book?
ground.
And I threw it on the ground.
Damn, that takes me back.
Yeah, man.
They waved as they found. Okay.
Alright.
Well, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, heroes. You're all gonna be in the record books alongside Sir Masayuki now. If you want to beat that boss, you better find a way quick while Sir Masayuki is preparing for the war. Yeah, I got money down on you guys doing it, so keep it up. The voices remained
Got my
just as
monies.
loud behind their backs as they retired to their inn. Once they reached their room, the three of them flopped down on their beds. So now, what are we gonna do? Mark asked. Who cares? An utterly exhausted Shinji replied, just let me rest a bit. They put everything they had into that boss battle, but it made everything up to floor 59 look like preschool. On floor 60, even the non-boss adversaries worked with a clear command structure. The sentient Death Lord they encountered led a team of fighters into battle. They managed to beat him and make it to the boss chamber, but what ensued in there was just wretched. You gonna report back to Yuki? Jin's reminder made Shinji get up. He sat down on the bed, sighing as Mark and Jin picked themselves up and sat around him. I don't really know what we can report. We had no idea that side quest zone was going to be so hard. Yeah, it wasn't too bad up to floor 59, but what the hell was up at 60? A Death Lord with a whole platoon of Death Knights? Like, they had a whole army locked up for using in there.
Loaded.
Or for us in there. Yeah, my mouse was over it. Any normal soldier would have had his ass kicked in the blink of an eye. I know. That was awful. Everything got so well defended on that floor. And those 3 bosses, not just the knight who beat us, but the skeleton on the throne and the dragon. Those had to be secret bosses, I think. Now they were lost in conversation, too excited to worry too much about each other. The easy-breezy atmosphere up to yesterday had disappeared in under 24 hours. And that boss sitting on the throne. And that boss sitting on the throne, that was a White King, you know? I guess someone with high-level appraisal magic managed to identify it. But it's so different from how it looks on screen. Nope, I had that backwards. Shit, whatever. 100%, Mark said in agreement with Shinji. Having that show up when we were totally unprepared for it, how could we even deal? Honestly, I never want to see it again. Jin's companions were on the same page, and the White King didn't even participate in the battle. It didn't move from the throne, just sat there, exuding royal dignity. I mean, that Minotaur guy seemed like a regular boss, you know? He was around an A in strength, but wasn't floor 60 way too much of a step up? Yeah, too much. I'm starting to think everything up to floor 50 was meant to put us off guard. But now I'm really sure of it, avowed Shinji. If monsters that strong are protecting it, there's got to be something in that maze. Yeah, that Alberto guy was just way out of our league. Even his equipment. Even his equipment. No, that's Shinji. Even his equipment. I tried appraising it while Mark engaged him, but it was all unique from head to toe. Ah, that explains it. I came in figuring my Minos Bardish could cleave right through all that. I guess weapons you pick up from treasure chests work well on the next boss, only in RPGs, huh? Well, yeah. I think we got too full of ourselves in there. Yeah. They looked at each other and heaved a sigh in unison. Now they were a bit calmer. It was time for some tea and a moment to catch their breath. Want to try again tomorrow? Are you serious? Not against them. We'd lose every time. Yeah. Also, that hero talk? Yuki mentioned Masayuki to us before, right? Like, that kid who has incredible good luck and nothing else, and he took on floor 60? I don't think he has yet, no. His party advanced down pretty easily as well, but they say he's never died yet in there. Oh. Oh, has any other party tried it? The chatter I heard said the top runners are all tackling floor 50 at the moment, but none of them signed broadcast deals, so until now, Masayuki had the best public record. Beyond that, there's a few broadcasting parties stuck on floor 50.
40.
Signing a contract didn't mean you were watched inside the dungeon at all times. The cameras were only situated in the boss rooms every 10 floors, and occasionally camera crews would follow you around for special events and so on. Thus, thanks to being the first team to floor 60, Shinji's party became the big celebrities of the moment, and with the way they kept rewriting records, people were starting to place bets on them. You know, I'm willing to bet Masayuki got tipped off. He probably knows floor 60's home to a secret boss. I guess we should have expected to lose then, like 2 guys at that level plus a dragon? This labyrinth is so unbalanced. It was pretty well balanced until floor 50. I really do think that was meant as a hidden boss. The hidden town's probably right past that. So they continued talking and consoling themselves for a while before moving on to their future plans. You know, guys, if we've got crowds cheering for us in the city, I don't think we can really do any kind of spy work. Nah, that's not a big problem. Like I said, we're safer this way. All we've done is go into the labyrinth so far. So should we wait for Lord Ghidorah to show up? Because I think we hit a pretty big dead end now there. Or no,
Down
that's
there.
Mark. Fuck. Whatever. You want to try training or something? Shinji chuckled. Well, there's definitely something past that chamber. And the Guardian's way stronger than anything else we saw. I think I can report that much to Yuki. Tell him how big the labyrinth is, too. It must have been magically expanded or something, because it's way too large and deep to be man-made. Ha! And don't forget, he was far stronger than anything on any other floor. Shinji meekly nodded at Mark and Jin. Right. Okay. Once I'm done with my report, you guys want to tour around some more? There was no need to spend any more time talking about it. The three of them mentally flipped the page as they went out into the night. Their first stop was a secluded spot outside of town, where they made their report as agreed upon. Pardon me. After sending the summary report to Yuki, they received a magical call from him about 10 minutes later. Hey, glad you're doing okay. Well, we were until last night, but today was awful for us. Yeah, sounds like you guys got your asses kicked. So, what are you up to next? I think it'll depend on Lord Ghidorah. We've got no way to pass floor 60 by ourselves, and the labyrinth's not really set up so we can sneak our way around it. Yeah, I'm sure. Alright, now let me ask you something else. Yes? Can you go into more detail on just how strong the floor 60 boss is? Just, like, anything you felt in there is fine. Only Shinji and his friends understood the angle of this question. What Yuki asked, basically, was how high up in the Imperial Guardians this opponent would be. Shinji thought it over a moment. The Imperial Army's ranking duels held little interest to him. Fuck me. He didn't care much about working his way up the military ranks, so he had never tried challenging anyone before. He owed Yuki for picking him up and taking care of him, so he just served him as a way to pay back the debt. In the military, though, since he didn't like lending a hand to organized crime, In the military, though, since he didn't like lending a hand to organized crime. The moment Yuki began leading the composite division, he transferred over there from his original assignment in the armored division. He wasn't the only otherworlder in the East to think along these lines, either. Quite a few of them avoided making shows out of their power. God help me. Dodging major responsibilities and just living normal lives. That made it harder to accurately gauge their strength, so nobody could really say whether the Imperial Knights were truly the strongest or not. They were by name, at least, and in a way, it was natural that they were ranked on such a detailed basis. I'd say he'd at least make it into the top 50. I don't think anyone lower than that would stand a chance. Are you talking about Alberto alone? Yes. Oh, and I don't know if this helps, but I was deployed as an army medic for an anti-archdemon mission once. I only got a quick look at the fight, but the White King I saw today had pretty much the same magic kill count, I think. Do you mean the Crimson Shore disaster? Oh, yeah. Roger. Okay, thanks for the guidance. You guys can go on R&R until you regroup with Lord Ghidorah. With that, the magical call ended.
Okay,
Boom.
they're about to explain it. There's a reason the Crimson Shore disaster makes a smile spread across my face, and you're about to find out why.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
The Crimson Shore disaster was considered among the most ignoble events to ever occur on Imperial soil. It had its origins in a beautiful lakeside province that rebelled against the Empire and declared independence. Rebelled against whatever. They were at a military disadvantage, of course, but what their king did to make up the difference wound up triggering a catastrophe. He had tapped into secret demon summoning arts, an all but forbidden taboo. Did he summon Guy?
Oh, no, something else.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
His orders were to summon the most powerful demon they could manage, and his court sorcerers did his bidding. The archdemon they summoned wound up laying waste to the entire province. This was a small province, its total population less than 10,000, and it had no chance of outgunning the Empire. But the king still had good reason to go rogue. His only daughter, the princess of the realm, was being claimed by an imperial noble as his concubine. Weird word. With the empire being as vast as it was, the emperor didn't waste his time in the nitty-gritty dealings of the tinier provinces. All imperial territory belonged to him, its management left to the nobility, and so nobles had free rein to treat the provinces as they pleased. It was thus common to see a frontier earl use the emperor's authority to act like a brutal tyrant over the region he ruled. What the demon wanted, however, was the Splinter Kingdom's princess. The king steadfastly denied this request, but once his head sorcerer caught sight of the demon's full glory, good lord, he went mad. His spirit crushed forever, and he agreed to the demand. Thus, with an evil smile, the demon possessed the princess's body. The king was enraged, but the rage was soon replaced with terror, for once the demon had a body, that was when the massacre began. When the Empire was informed that the province was leveled, they decided to send out a force to subdue this demon. They were fortunate they did, for if they had acted any later, it could have been the birth of a second Guy Crimson. Holy shit. This force arrived to find the beautiful lake turned a deep shade of red. Dyed by the blood of the province's citizens, it was a black mark on the history of the Empire, the worst thing to happen to it in centuries. It was ultimately the Armored Division. Armored Division. Its bases located across the Empire, who put an end to the Crimson Shores incident. That's what the history books said, but the truth, as Shinji was witness to from far away, was that a small group of soldiers defeated the archdemon all by themselves. The whole affair struck Shinji as fishy, really. Clearly, the nobility was oppressing the countryside, but once the demon aimed its terror at the Empire's own citizens, Shinji began to wonder if the truth was as cut and dried as reported. For one, the Empire reacted almost too quickly. In the time it'd take to report the incident to the Imperial mainland, debate over countermeasures, and form an expeditionary force, the demon could have easily completed its full manifestation. Instead, the Empire stopped this just in the nick of time, thus proving, in Shinji's mind anyway, that they were tipped off in advance. He had no intention of telling anyone else about this. When he saw the strength of the demon his deployment was fighting, it taught him that some things were better off left unexplored in his life. I have to imagine those guys had to be at the top of the Imperial Knights. No matter what he did, Shinji doubted he'd ever have a chance against them. It truly felt like they belonged to some other world, and that's when he stopped caring about his army rank.
Yeah. It's going to be really funny when he meets her again.
Oh.
Well, considering that she works for the nation that he's currently spying on.
Oh God! This is gonna be great.
It's funny that it's called the Crimson Lake Disaster or whatever, and you guys immediately went to Guy because Guy Crimson. No.
Yeah.
The lake is called Crimson because she dyed the lake red with the blood of so many humans, but it was literally the primordial white.
I love it.
Yeah.
Red does show up the most on white. Or it shows up the most clearly on white.
I mean,
so.
maybe she likes red wine. You don't know.
Red wine. Sorry.
Anyway, but yeah. So, yeah, it could have been this birth of the second Guy Crimson.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. The scariest demon lord that humanity knows of. Yeah.
Until Rimuru showed up.
Until other things showed up.
No.
Oh.
No, not until Rimuru showed up. At this point, Rimuru is not that scary of a demon lord.
And
he's not scary.
Merciful.
He's nice.
And he's very compassionate.
Rimuru is actually a pretty decent demon lord. He's pretty compassionate and everything.
Yeah, he's merciful, compassionate.
However,
everyone's scared of what he's going to do next, though.
However, what the Empire is about to set in motion is going to be far scarier.
Oh, no.
Because they are going to give birth to something far scarier than a second Guy Crimson.
3 Guy Crimsons.
No.
Rimuru, hear me out.
They're going to give
Rimuru,
birth, they're going to
renaming Guy Crimson.
No, they're going to give birth to Rimuru the True Dragon.
The actual second Guy Crimson.
No, Guy Crimson. No, because Guy Crimson takes orders from True Dragons.
This might
Oh,
be
so
kind
it's
of a
better.
dumb
Or
question
one
at this
True
point.
Dragon specifically.
I'm actually curious
Yeah.
about something.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Is it
Chaos created.
possible to dename something? Is that a thing?
You can change the name.
It's possible to rename something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but like,
rename
can you
it.
just be like, yeah, you don't have a name anymore? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
No,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like I think there were jokes about that, like having records.
However, here's the other thing. Right? It's a funny thing where you're like, oh, this person doesn't take sides. By the time we get caught up, there are so many motherfuckers who owe Rimuru favors.
Yeah, he does have his hand dipped in a lot of things.
No,
doesn't
you don't
he?
understand. Everyone owes this man. Everyone owes this slime some fucking favors. At the point in time that we get caught up, Guy Crimson owes huge fucking favors to Rimuru.
Shotaro Joestar, what are you doing fighting for Tempest? He paid for a drink for me once.
Yeah.
He paid for it.
And now I'm his loyal servant.
It's like it's
Yeah.
literally
The world.
the entire Joestar line and Dio owe Rimuru favors. You know?
And Dio.
He
And
bought,
Dio.
he bought the JoJo Bizarre Adventure crew a drink, and now they all serve him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tea. They
Fair.
all serve him
Yep.
tea.
Iced tea.
Iced tea.
I've, yeah.
Sorry,
I want to see
sorry.
Jotaro with a
Please-
little.
Please continue.
plate.
Please continue.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Moon.
Yeah.
Shinji breathed a sigh of relief as Mark and Jin eyed him carefully. You done? Asked Mark. Thanks for handling that, said Jin. Sure, I think that about covers it. Now we get to chill out until Lord Ghidorah shows. All right, but
That's gonna be a fun
damn, you
conversation.
survived Crimson Shore? Good thing you did. Yeah, by playing possum. One of the better decisions I made in my life, I think. Ah, hell. You deserve a medal just for making it out. Didn't like 2/3 of that force get killed?
Dude,
That's right.
wait until he realizes that Crimson Shore, like the thing that they tried to avoid at Crimson Shore, literally just happened 3 times over, like it wasn't even a big deal. Hydrate.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Gonna go get my drink.
Got a rash in my water.
Got to ration your water. You mean that quick sip of air you just had?
Yes. It was a very actual, a tiny sip, but
Tiny sip.
a sip nonetheless.
That's
A
right.
schmat water.
I never want to join anything like that again. I mean, I was an army medic and I couldn't even do anything. Oh. Yeah, every attack killed its targets instantly, so healing didn't matter. That's why I bugged out real early on.
Oh.
Wow, that sounds rough.
Yeah,
Archdemons are really that bad?
that's rough,
Well,
buddy.
the one I saw
It
was
is.
beyond bad. And plus, I swear we made eye contact once. But if you ask me, I think she let me go. Her eyes were like blood red. Just remembering it makes me want to piss my pants. Shinji gave his surprised-looking audience a smile. But if that skeleton's on the level of an archdemon like that, there's no way we can take him. It's really the same level. The magicule counts are, anyway. They say that the longer a demon's existed, the stronger they are. And I think the one I saw was pretty old. It had to be, or else the highest echelons of Imperial government was in... Shit. Of Imperial government wouldn't have taken such drastic action. But Shinji stopped, Oh, he's not even talking. But Shinji stopped himself from saying that. But there's no point dwelling on it. I heard they're working on a machine that can tabulate the power of your adversary, but I don't really see the point. Even that knight Alberto, based on his magicules, I can't even imagine how strong he is. And do you remember back in our classes? How good you were in a fight involved a lot more than just how strong you were. Right, I get what you're saying. Yeah. That sort of thing. Some demons are just beyond anything we can measure. That's all I want you to remember. The way Shinji put it, they couldn't even begin to work on that level. The other two took that to heart.
Alrighty. That's where we'll put a pause on that. With the worst of the day behind them, the trio hurried over to the Free Guild office before it closed and sold their magic crystals and extra equipment to the resource department.
Whoa, these crystals are from really deep down, aren't they? The quality's completely different. Another slotted weapon? And pure magisteel? They'd never let these out in public in other countries.
The guild staff members were pretty impressed. Shinji's party could have fetched higher prices if they'd shopped around, but they were here on an undercover investigation, so they didn't want to expand their social network that much. Besides, the guild paid well enough. Their mission was at a standstill, but the past few days alone ensured they were damn well funded. At least. In the army, they were paid an annual salary, all in advance. If you got promoted in rank, you'd receive the difference in pay the following year. Even if you were penniless upon enlistment, you'd get a reserve fund based on how many days remained in the year. Thus, you really couldn't lose money in the military. Even if you died in combat, the advanced salary would be treated as part of your family's consolation payout. Foot soldiers ranked up to private received a base salary of around 10 gold coins, equivalent to approximately $10,000 a year. Jesus. The army covered your room, board, and clothing, so this pay was still a blessing for the lower classes. To this, enlisted men could add rank pay, hazard pay, and a lot of other side bonuses, depending on their duties. Mark and Jin were both first lieutenants, while Shinji was a major with a medic qualification. None of them had the authority to give orders, but their rank still afforded them a few nice perks. Otherworlders in general were treated well in the Empire, at least on the level of a second lieutenant, but Shinji was ranked higher than his companions. Regardless, though, all of them were on a much higher pay scale than the rank-and-file infantry. A first lieutenant's rank earned them 36 gold coins, while a major netted you 44. Every rank promotion meant an extra 4 golds a year, combined with a base pay and other income. Mark and Jen's yearly salaries were around 50 golds, while Shinji's usually broke 70. A military salary gave you an income above the imperial average, but you still weren't living like a tycoon. You'd be rich by rural standards, but in the capital, the cost of living was sky high. Still, life could be tough in this world if you decided to go it by yourself. Having a stable career, whether in the military or elsewhere, was a godsend. Now, though, this trio knew better. They didn't need to cling to the army at all. They could just live in that city within the labyrinth, and they'd be just fine. Their confidence chiefly stemmed from the fact that today's trip to the guild alone earned them over 300 gold coins. That well outpaced what a year in the army would earn them all combined. That, and unless the Empire handed it out to them, they'd never have a chance at scoring unique class equipment in their lives. It was a huge windfall. All three of them realized this well enough, but all three hesitated to say it out loud. They kept their silence as they headed to their next destination. Once in Rimuru, the monster city, they chose a fairly high-end restaurant for dinner, enjoying the kind of luxury they hadn't experienced in ages.
Is this just really okay? Jin timidly asked. Selling equipment like that?
Shinji and Mark were unmoved.
Of course it is. We didn't sell all of it. We kept some samples.
Yeah, and it's not like we could take it all home anyway.
As long as we keep the good stuff, nobody's going to complain.
Unless they received permission to loot it, anything procured during a military operation belonged to the armed forces. In this case, none of them would have any right to protest if everything they earned was taken away. At the same time, though, they were asked to investigate the labyrinth. They were posing as adventurers, and selling booty on the market was perfectly normal adventurer behavior. It seemed safe to take this as a nice side benefit. Besides, it's not like Yuki would demand the stuff from them anyway. He was bound to let Shinji's party have it all, except for what he personally needed. But, if they do confiscate all the money we made, you gotta start seriously thinking about moving here, don't you? Shinji finally said it first. Nobody disagreed. 1 gold coin is equivalent to around $1,000 a ballpark
$1,000, a ballpark conversion that applied just as well in the Empire as it did here. Minted in the Dwarven Kingdom, they circulated around the world, and the Empire recognized them as official currency. Whatever they earned here, they could bring home and use like any other money. I think that's totally doable. Yeah, I was just joking about it earlier, but now I feel like working here would be a lot more fun. Shinji only half meant it, but Mark and Jin were more up for it than he had anticipated. Yes, the Empire was on the cutting edge of culture and technology. Technology? Wow.
Technology.
Technology.
Yes.
Technology from Czechoslovakia?
Or checkmate.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Or the Chex Mix.
Chex
Yeah.
Mix. It boasted a fine capital, the food was good, and they lived comfortably. As long as they had money, they could enjoy life well enough, even compared with their former world. But they were in the military, and that always came with the potential for death. Meanwhile, the dungeon offered everything they could possibly want. You never worried about dying, something they didn't quite believe at first, but now that they'd experienced it once, they were convinced. And if death wasn't a concern, wouldn't it be better to just earn what they could in there and party it up in town? That was the conclusion Shinji and his friends made, and no one could blame them for it. Money, of course, was meaningless without entertainment, something the monster city of Rimuru afforded lots of. There was a battle arena open to the public when events weren't taking place, giving citizens a nice, well-maintained space to play and relax. Sports like soccer and baseball were starting to spread, and some of the dungeon runners were forming teams. And then there were the hot springs and the theaters, which housed a flourishing drama scene that played to big crowds on a regular basis, something they already witnessed for themselves. The food was just as good, no, even better than the Empire's, featuring familiar Japanese specialties, desserts, and a dizzying range of adult beverages. They were recreating cuisines that didn't even exist in this realm, and an Earth native like Shinji found it all hopelessly attractive. Plus, when you really got down to it, their only obligation was to Yuki, and Yuki didn't look like he wanted conflict with the Demon Lord Rimuru. It didn't even seem like they'd be betraying anyone if they moved here. I know desertion gets us the death penalty, but we're not at war, are we? Not yet, anyway. Right? I was just thinking about that too, Shinji, because we can still request a discharge, yeah? That'll depend on Yuki. Desertion was a crime only when the nation was in a state of war. That didn't apply at the moment, luckily. Depending on how you interpreted this, an honorable discharge still seemed possible. But the moment, muttered Mark, is this war. But the problem, muttered Mark, is this war. That was the whole reason they couldn't commit to abandoning the Empire. War was obviously looming on the horizon, ready to rise up on them, and it'd leave its scars across this entire region. If it weren't for that, they'd be house hunting right now. Who do you think's gonna win? Like before that, if we're ordered to attack this city, what are we gonna do? The trio exchanged glances. It was an excellent dinner, but suddenly it tasted bland to them. Attacking the city was the last thing they wanted, in a couple of ways. Shinji's group had stayed here only a little while, but they really liked it. They'd hate it if this city got wiped off the map. That was one reason. The second was that their imaginations ominously suggested was that if the Labyrinth bosses were any indication, the strongest of Tempestian fighters had to be absolute beasts. I mean, of course they're going to have someone really strong defending their important facilities, right? Said Mark. But their troops have to be weaker than that, or I guess we hope they are, huh? I agree, Shinji replied, with a nod. I think once you get to the level of Rimuru, at least, it's a whole other ballgame. There's a story about how Veldora raised an entire city long ago, and now I really don't think it's a joke at all. I mean, that White King could do it even. The monsters who called Tempest home certainly seemed capable of disasters like that. You know, the way I see it, archdemons are kind of like nuclear weapons back home. They've got nuclear magic here, even. Yeah, Because we've seen how war is all about numbers, but with a boss like that, all the numbers in the world wouldn't do a thing. You'd need dozens of fighters as good as us to stand a chance. All of them scowled, and the magical call from Ghidorah came shortly after.
Uh-oh.
Here we go, guys. Here's the fun
It's like,
part.
yeah, can we request a discharge at this point in time?
Here
No
we go.
reason particular.
All right,
we
here
just
we go.
Kinda...
Here we go,
Yeah.
guys. An elderly
Oh,
man.
shit.
An elderly man was prostrated before me. Behind him, the trio I had been watching on the control room's big screen were following his lead. The man's name was Ghidorah, the very one who went through Diablo and Rosin to request an audience with me. He wasn't gaudily dressed, but he had an expensive-looking magic robe on, his eyes sharp enough that I doubted his age a little. Shinji, as I surmised, was actually named Shinji. Shinji Tanemura, to be exact.
Okay.
Or Shinji. Sorry.
I was wondering about that. I was like, did they just make a massive typo earlier?
No, that was
Yeah,
something
so that was
they
on
wrote
purpose.
on purpose. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
The other
All right,
two
sorry.
put their real names on their processing form. All three were apparently assigned to Ghidorah here, a master sorcerer. They usually worked under Yuki, but were serving as assistants to Ghidorah in their current investigations. They had explained all this to me after Ghidorah was done. He took this pose. To Ghidorah. And after Ghidorah was done, he took this pose. Shinji in the game copying him. We weren't going to get anything like this. We weren't going to get anywhere like this. Yeah, that's about what I figured with you guys, I guess. But we can't really get comfortable and talk if you're posing like that. Okay, let's move somewhere else. Shio nodded. Lift your heads, she intoned, sounded grumpy for some reason. This is why I hate royal audiences like this. I know I'm gonna mess up my manners somehow. I'd prefer to just skip the whole thing. As you wish! Given all the exaggerated shouting, I was starting to dread our meeting, so we relocated to a reception room, a plainer one. I tended to prefer this one over in the fancier chamber. The furniture and stuff were so high-end that I was afraid I'd break or ruin something. One false move with a full teacup and it'd be liable to stain the fancy carpet we had in there. In my heart, I was still just another common peon, and I preferred surroundings within my means. It appeared Shinji's party was the same way. They looked a bit more cheerful than before. Which do you like more? I casually asked. Tea or coffee? Coffee, please. Shinji! Ghidorah shouted. I spent a few moments calming him down. And you, Ghidorah? Me? Well, I'll have what Shinji's having. Oh? Don't they have coffee in the Empire? I figured they would. But maybe there's not that much in circulation. Turning toward Mark and Jin, they simply nodded back at me. They were okay with the same thing, I supposed. Okay, 4 American blends, Shuna. American? Ghidorah yelped. Oh, did you want something stronger? Dark roast, maybe? Or you want to try it Tempest style? No, I didn't mean it like that, but, oh? Sir Rimuru, would you happen to be an otherworlder? Yeah? That's the question he has? Because if so, he clearly hasn't done his homework. I sized the 4 of them up, but only Ghidorah had an oh crap look on his face. I guess the other 3 knew, but forgot to tell him. Oh well. I love this shit.
Kind of a big thing to leave out.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, so you're telling me that American coffee is the weakest shit out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
That explains why it doesn't help. It always actually puts me to sleep more than anything else.
Colombian coffee is the strong shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that shit's
Colombian
good.
coffee.
Have you ever tried Cuban coffee? That's a heart attack in a small cup.
You're just like,
I can
Funny
actually
'cause the mark
focus.
is really the only thing it affects on me.
Huh?
What is it? Caffeine does nothing to me except affect my heart rate.
I'm telling you right now.
Isn't that the point of it?
Bro, you want to know what I have? Want to know what I used to have for a nightcap when I was in my 20s that would actually put me to sleep?
special shot.
No, coffee with a shot of Jack Daniels.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
fair.
would have coffee with a shot of Jack Daniels, a little bit of caramel, and some whipped cream on top.
Mm.
Ooh.
Actually sounds pretty
After
nice.
the sugar rush died down, I would go out like a light.
So it'd be like a last minute, like
'Cause-
just to be safe.
Because
and then it goes
literally
down.
after the sugar rush died, it is nothing but a giant muscle relaxer.
Just
That's literally what it is.
You're literally melt.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's so good. It was so good, man. I miss it. Anyway,
You're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to try that out. That sounds really good.
I
now.
can't do it anymore. I'm in my 40s now, man.
I'm in my 20s. I could do it.
Yeah.
okay.
Mid
Tried
20s,
Death
granted.
Wish
but-
coffee. I was wired for hours. No, I can't do that. Guys, I suffer from insomnia now. I can't do that
Oh.
shit.
No, yeah, that would make it so much
no.
worse.
No.
Oh my god. Oh,
Anyway. Well, to tell the truth, I was something of a veteran reincarnate as well.
oh.
That was just
Lord
been
Ghidorah certainly
okay.
kicked things off with a bombshell. The other three turned toward him, looking just as surprised. Apparently, Ghidorah, in his mission to master the magical arts, had reincarnated himself many times over an untold number of years. With every rebirth, he read through the secret libraries of this or that royal palace, allowing him to build a vast store of knowledge. He came to know Adelman in the midst of this clandestine sorcery research, and the two became close friends. As I mentioned earlier, I had a personal vendetta against the Western Holy Church, one I kindled after my best friend Adelman was killed. Thus, over the course of centuries, I crafted my plans and coaxed the Empire into doing my bidding. Ghidorah gave me his personal history. After Adelman was put into a trap, he swore revenge, headed into the Empire alone, and gradually built up his reputation. He had experienced battle against Veldora as well. Certainly, he'd led a far more eventful life than I thought. In hindsight, I'm honestly glad I completed my reincarnation ritual before we challenged him. I always wanted to see for myself the ultimate in evil, the worst nature could create. Only 4 true dragons had ever been born. They sat at the precipice of monsterdom, the most powerful beings on the planet. Based on his experience battling one of them, he didn't think the Imperial army was likely to ever beat Veldora. He was, of course, saying this right in front of the guy who was already shooting me gleeful sidelong glances. I wish he'd stop.
That's a beautiful
Quit while you're
message.
ahead.
He's just like, he's one of the strongest guys, one of the people that we cannot stop, and he's like he's just like,
Talking about me! Reemaroo, he's talking about me!
Yeah.
He's,
he didn't even give a boost.
You hear that, Reemaroo? Reemaroo's just like,
Oh, I love it.
God. We don't need his ego stroked anymore, please.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm strong.
It's like, God
Yes,
damn it.
Veldora, you are.
I'm strong. Anyway.
I'm a strong boy. We strong boats.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I
I,
was going to go with an Adelman joke.
I
but
do
that didn't
think, mind you, that we could have scored a tactical victory against Sir Veldora, but those fools in the Empire insisted on trying to win that beast over to our side. I warned them time and time again that it was an impossible waste of time. Ghidorah's interests were fixed squarely upon the West and his revenge against Luminism, and he didn't want to waste good soldiers on pointless campaigns. He attempted to prevail upon his superiors how unrealistic their hopes were, but the commanders refused to listen, overvaluing themselves far too much. Hearing all this, Ghidorah sounded like a pretty stand-up guy, but Ghidorah was also the one who fanned the Empire's lust for expansion, it seemed. I asked him to spare me all the details and skip to more recent trends. So for the most part, the Empire's trying to start a war because of you? That is part of it, you could say. No, old man, you could try talking your way around it, but you had to be the cause. He quickly began making excuses, perhaps sensing my displeasure. But no! The Empire has always had that will to dominate, you see. If I didn't give that lust for power a direction, they would have fanned the flames of war all over the world. All I did was turn their eyes toward the West. Their goals matched with mine, you could say. It was a good arrangement, I thought. Oh, like hell it was! And now we're mixed up in it for no reason? And let me tell you, I was against invading the Forest of Jura.
It is the domain of Sir Vildor, the Storm Dragon, and I didn't want to repeat our mistakes from before. I suggested they devote their efforts towards scheming against the Dwarven Kingdom instead. But they can be so stubborn, all of them. They try to use military might to solve all their problems. Ghidorah sounded pained to me. I didn't care. Wait a minute. So the Empire does want to hit the Dwarven Kingdom? I had pretty much discounted it, but did we need to consider a campaign route through Dworgen after all? You thought about that too? Well, it's nothing as concrete as wanting to hit them exactly. My suggestion was to propose an alliance with King Gazel so he'd allow us to march through the kingdom. My only grudge was with the Western Holy Church, remember? The old sorcerer was already aware that Adelman was safe. They would be meeting after our talk was done, and that's why Ghidorah, realizing just how badly he whiffed on all of this, had switched to an anti-war stance.
No war! No war!
Gazel.
No war!
Yeah, Gazel.
No war!
Gazel, literally. We must protect the Weed Princess!
The most precious
The Wee
commodity.
Princess is here in Tempest? Oh, shit!
Oh, shit. Well, we must protect. All right, anyway.
Cancel all war preparations!
Yeah.
Shut it down!
All right. Anyway, man. That's so good. I love this. Anti-war now. I love it. Anyway. He was on friendly terms with the Emperor, he claimed, but not even he could ask him to withdraw their military plans. Instead, he kept pleading his case against the war in subsequent government-level meetings. This attitude seemed a little too convenient for my taste, but if Ghidorah could help us avoid war, I was willing to bite my tongue. Either way, I wanted to get as much out of him as I could right now. As I did, Benimaru and my other officers were in the next room over listening in and holding their own strategic conference. My job was to make Ghidorah as comfortable and loose-lipped as possible. I imagine King Gazel turned you down, huh? As one would expect, I suppose. Some of our commanders considered an assassination attempt, but I spoke up against that. If we were prepared to do that, I said, we may as well crush them with an all-out assault. It didn't strike me as anything to be proud of. He was more of a warmonger than I thought. I rolled my eyes a bit, but kept extracting more info from him. The Empire's military structure, the thoughts of their leading officers, even the astonishing news that Yuki was planning a coup. All this assured me that I was getting pretty much everything Ghidorah could provide. Finally, seemingly at ease, Ghidorah opened up to me. Let me assure you, Sir Rimuru, that I bear no particular sense of duty towards the Empire. They broke up the army division I personally built from scratch and took all my men away from me. This group with me, Shinji, Mark, and Zen, are my personal apprentices, so I'm allowed to turn to them as needed. But in the end, if Adelman is alive and well, or well, at least, then I have no attachment left to the Empire. He was an egocentric, self-centered old man, not a shred of loyalty in his heart, and he wasn't afraid to admit it. I had to hand it to him. I was about to say it out loud, but I kind of respected that attitude. So with that in mind, Sir Rimuru, if I may have the honor of joining your cause, I'm ready to exert myself as best I can. Right after admitting his utter lack of loyalty, he was courageous enough to ask for a spot in my administration? I gotta admit, I like the guy, but Benimaru and some others were in the next room hearing all this. I could already picture them losing their temper over Ghidorah's attitude. It was gonna be hard to calm them down later. Still, that didn't stop me from bringing Ghidorah on as a guest advisor, albeit on a probationary basis. If he wanted to join me, I'd make him work for it right. I'd make him work for the right. He certainly wasn't going to be too loyal to me, but I'd see how he could pitch in. For now, I was okay with him meeting Adelman and using the transport spell to access floor 70. His knowledge could help us out a lot. Maybe he could assist Ramirez. But before he settled down in Tempest, I planned to have him return to the Empire and do a little job for me. As for Shinji and company, I'd allow them to remain here in Tempest. They told me they'd take it easy for a while as they figured out what they wanted to do. This was their request they made. This was their request, made under Ghidorah's advice, and I had no reason to turn it down. If they turned traitor, I could always banish them, but I guess they really didn't want that because they readily pledged their loyalty to me. However, they also professed a great respect for Yuki and asked not to be involved in any hostilities against him. I was okay with that. Really, I said, the relationship between us and Yuki's people is so complicated, we kinda have a truce for the moment, is the way I'd put it. He's pissed me off a lot, and I'd like to get back at him, honestly, but I can't really will myself to hate his guts either. Despite it all, Yuki was still Shizu's student, and whenever I recalled how happy Shizu seemed when she talked about him, I couldn't help but cut the guy some slack. Maybe I was too soft on him, but hey, we're fellow countrymen. There'd be no more second chances, but for now, I'd put our past history on ice. If you asked me to trust him, however, that was another story. Trusting that bastard at this point was nothing but a death wish. And you know, guys, I don't think you should trust Yuki too much either. Ghidorah nodded at this interestingly enough. Guess he had his own thoughts about Yuki too. They were acquaintances and partners at one point, so maybe Ghidorah could be a good go-between for us. I was starting to think recruiting him was a pretty smart idea. If he didn't excessively trust Yuki either, I could at least believe him on that point. Later, I reunited Ghidorah with Adelman, and the two of them fondly reminiscing. Adelman consented to take him in, so for the time being, I let them live together. But before he did, now that I had all the info I wanted from Ghidorah, I ordered him to return to the Empire and follow my instructions. First, he'd advocate against the war for me. You think you can do that? By all means, Sir Rimuru. I am used to behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Trust me. I'm sure he was, but normally it'd be impossible for a single person to stop the will of an entire state. It's not that I didn't believe Ghidorah, but I figured it best to give him a plan B as well. If you can stop the war, that'd be best. But from what I'm hearing, that sounds like an uphill battle. You said the Empire's got an expansionist streak, right? If they're on the move, we can't really stop them now. But so if that winds up not working out, I want you to point them at this labyrinth.
This is a reminder. Take your medicine.
Yeah, give me a minute.
I take
Right there.
vitamins.
Reminder. Take your medicine.
Why does it go twice? I just noticed that.
That's just how the reminders work. Ken, if you're asking what happened to the room, this is a new place. I'm at my brother's place temporarily until stuff gets worked out, and I'm at my new, more permanent place, I guess. This is just when I say temporarily, this is like for like the rest of this month, maybe month and a half. I'm hoping for less time than that, but we shall see. Anyway, where was I at?
I want you to point them to the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to point them to the labyrinth. How do you mean? In the labyrinth, we could take all the casualties in the world and still not have a problem. That led me to this idea. I see. So you'd use the labyrinth to chip away at the Imperial forces and break them around. Pretty much. And I'm not sure Yuki's going to use that opportunity to act as well. I'm sure Yuki's going to use that opportunity to act as well. If he starts a riot back home, the Empire can't really keep a war going, can they? I wasn't sure how well it'd all work out, but in the labyrinth at least, we were guaranteed not to lose anyone. I explained all this to Ghidorah, giving him some labyrinth equipment and 3 resurrection bracelets. He could use this, I figured, to sell the dungeon to the commanders for us. No army wanted to be attacked from the rear. I doubted they were going to ignore the labyrinth and march on to the west, but if we could dangle some rewards in front of their eyes. Ah, I understand. A very astute way of thinking, and I know a few commanders greedy enough to take the bait. I think you can expect results from this scheme, Sir Rimuru. So Ghidorah accepted it with full confidence. If possible, we'd stop the war. If not, we'd divert them into the labyrinth. The rest was up to him. Thus, I granted Ghidorah and his 3 apprentices asylum, and with these new unexpected allies, the incident came to a close. And that's where we're going to end for now, because that's the end of Chapter 3. We will start Chapter 4 next week. Guys.
So that turned real fast.
Yeah. It turns on a dime. And guys, we are setting up possibly one of my favorite things. Boy, when the labyrinth comes into play in a war situation.
Oh.
The labyrinth.
Doesn't that basically make them immortal to whoever has like the bracelets on?
Guys, here's what you have to understand. 700,000 go in.
Was it like 4 come out?
Nope, just that's it. They go in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh. There is no exit.
Ooh.
The door has vanished.
Literally, the door only opens to let more people come in. You can't go out.
It's like nice.
What happened?
Because
We didn't figure out what's going on in there.
Because Ramirez controls the rules. And hey, when they go in, there's no longer a tutorial or introductory section. The invaders don't get bracelets.
We're no strangers to love.
Yeah.
War.
No, it gets
You
even
know
better.
the rules, except you don't.
No. Here's the funny thing. Guess what? All right. So guess who has access to the entire? Guess who has access to the entire effing dungeon? Because Ramirez granted it power over the entire effing dungeon.
Ooh.
Raphael.
Fucking yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
Oh, excuse me.
So
I have an idea.
For some reason, I want to say
so-
Yuki, but I don't know that's wrong.
So all the human souls that die in the dungeon are now property of Rimuru Tempest.
Your
signed a
souls are
waiver.
mine.
No, do you understand what Rimuru can do with 700,000 human souls?
Evolve?
Rimuru doesn't need to evolve.
Not yet.
Rimuru's already a demon lord. He doesn't need human souls to evolve anymore.
That's right.
He can make others evolve.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So literally he can create awakened demon lords within Tempest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, goody, a
Well,
war! Lure him
this
into
is-
the dungeon.
this is-
Who's gonna be the demon lord this time?
He will
Jesus.
literally
Can I
have his
make it?
own faction within Tempest. That is crazy. Dude, the crazy
So Benimaru's
shit,
the first, obviously.
The crazy shit that is gonna happen within the next several volumes is gonna be intense and insane. And the amount of favors that people are gonna owe this motherfucker in the next several volumes is gonna be great. There is going look. It's not just Rimuru that's gonna do it, but it's gonna be one of those things where it's like you get an awakening and you get an awakening and you get an awakening. And keep in mind that every time somebody gets an awakening, that somebody goes through the awakening process, sometimes someone goes through the awakening process and it's just like that. They don't even go to sleep. They just happen. Right? Some of them, it just happens. But you also have to remember, everybody that serves under them gets an insane power boost too.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So like,
So the
chains.
Nation
Oh,
of Tempest, like if you thought they were not to be trifled with before.
Yeah, they're.
We won the war, and we got twice as strong from it.
Everyone's gonna be about. They're all gonna be able to warp Digivolve very, very
Okay,
fast.
so who goes first? It's probably Benimaru. I'm curious how Shuna's evolution would
We
be.
will find out. We will
Gabiru.
find out when it happens. We will very much find out when it happens. Yeah,
What happens with Soe when he evolves? Does he just get more sexy?
So a Digivolve to Sim Supreme.
Shim! We see. That's right, viewers. It was Shim all along.
He just turns into me. I'm like, oh Well,
He just turns into you.
He just turns
Interesting.
God, imagine if we did that in a bird series. It's like he evolves white flash of light, and it's just Shim in his room's like.
it's just me and like the wig that
What
I
happens?
had and the horn. Like, hey
You
guys.
have like a fake
Me.
horn.
Yeah, it's that cosplay that I had on Halloween.
It's just
I
you
still
and your
have that wig.
cosplay.
Yeah, I still have that wig
that
somewhere.
one cosplay that one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and the
That's
horn somewhere.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, it's
Okay.
too perfect. Go back, go back.
I will let you guys.
We went
I
too
will let
far.
you guys decide.
Nice.
Okay, so you know what? All right, so
Yeah.
we can either raid, because we're gonna raid somebody. We're either gonna raid Lennon, who's playing Diablo 4. We can raid Fangs, who's playing Destiny 2.
Thanks.
Yep.
That's Discord. Where is
I
Twitter?
feel like Destiny 2 is a more fun game to watch.
It is more fun to watch, but Lennon.
But Diablo is the one that's out
But
this
Lennon
last
is
weekend.
actually
So.
one of us. Fangs is not. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But Blizzard, meh, oh well.
I know. I'm not
I
a
know.
fan of Blizzard right now either.
I know.
Yeah, Diablo 4 is like the only good thing coming out from them right now. If it stays that way, even.
And it's not exactly what I would call good for them right now either.
Mm.
Considering it's not even like at the
You better not be trash. Oh, I'm gonna be trash. In 3 months' time.
oh no
That thing no one likes
Oh.
is coming back.
oh
Fuck.
sir no, you don't even have to wait 3 months.
Oh, it's not. Was it what, 3 days?
There's already people that are mad at a lot of stuff that's happening in Diablo 4.
Yeah, I heard that the DLC is still pretty
You know-
predatory and all that, so I was like, oh.
You know what the funny thing was?
It's-
I literally had 3 friends who were like hounding me. It's like, we gotta show you the trailer. No, the trailer's not gonna be good. We gotta show them gameplay. It's like, okay, look up
It's
this
not
YouTube.
even-
No,
no-
that YouTube. They
Bro,
wanted me to get
bro,
it.
It's not
really
even
badly.
that. It's not even that, bro. You need to hear what Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Blizzard, said recently. Like
You don't have to have
literally-
phones to play this.
No. It had nothing. It's not specifically to Diablo. Literally, in order to try and take heat away from everything, he tried to sit here and blame unions for all the bad shit that has happened.
Oh,
It
piss
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like, there's
what a butthole.
no frat boy, like, there's no frat boy culture here at Blizzard. This is just,
Yes, there.
what a
there's,
fuck.
it's
Yeah, there was.
just bad. It's just labor unions trying to pick on us, and we're like, fuck you, dude.
They're trying to make the
the
lies.
fuck
And
up.
it's
All
like,
right, so we're
no.
going
Yeah.
to
We're
we're
the
going to
labor
raid we're going to raid Lennon. That's what
All
we're
right.
going to do. We are going to raid.
Thanks for
Lennon.
coming, everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody.
Thanks for being here.
So everybody say hi to mom.
Oh, well.
Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Everybody.
hey, Mom, can I get my allowance for the week?
We're doing an Akatsuki. We're doing. Just let them know. Just let them know that. Just let them know that their child Rimuru sent them.
Okay, there we go. I was
Yeah.
gonna say like words.
Their child Rimuru
course.
sent them, and that your precious son Rimuru sent them, and that we're doing the raid of Get Good. Yes,
The savior has come.
the savior has come. The raid of Get Good.
Yes.
Now everyone wish her well, and be nice to mom.
Yes.
She is a precious.
Seriously, we're gonna get in trouble if you don't.
She's a precious.
Oh,
She's a precious bean.
Dude. I'm just gonna get grounded if you say that.
ah.
God.
Why? It's like, wait, why
Ah.
me
Why you
specifically?
guys gotta be? Shut up.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Oh, you have to
up,
do
Mom.
that.
Don't be
You have to have that tone.
All right, we're gonna do
Yeah.
the raid now.
Shut up.
Yeah.
And so instead of saying goodbye to the stream, we're just gonna shut
Yep.
up, stream.
Shut up, stream. Don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Look, our
Everybody-
birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
Hey, viewers, here we go. 3, 2, 1,
Yep.
raid now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.